because I think part of Polly's being mad is kind of like his friend passing him by, right? Like his friend leaving him behind, and not even that
Mhm.
there's anything that could be done about that, but like, and I think I could relate to that. I mean, I've never been like had any outbursts or anything. I've never swung a bat at a lampshade or anything and tried and property destruction or anything like that as a result, but just that idea where somebody that once considered yourself on even playing field with is kind of passing you by and moving on to bigger things that a friend or family or whoever it might be, that can be definitely be a relatable and difficult thing to go through.
See, I don't even know if I give Polly that much credit. I think that I think that what you're saying would be true for the reasonable person, to be introspective to be introspective and say, "You know what? It is my fault. My life is the way it is because of me." And that's essentially what you were just laying out. But what Paulie does is he goes back to, "It's not fair that he got this opportunity and I didn't, and he's my friend, and he owes me something." Whatever. He owes me, and that jealousy leads to entitlement when if we're gonna love our neighbors as ourselves and we're gonna submit to God, then it doesn't really matter what comes our way or our friends' way. We need to be happy for the blessings that they get and the opportunities that they capitalize on, and we need to celebrate our friends and family. And we need to celebrate other people that get those opportunities and take advantage of them. And then in submission to God, this is the path that I'm going on, and I can only steward the opportunities that I'm given, and they're given from above. So we just have to really kind of get back to the roots of humility, I think. And in this sense, is this kind of metaphor example, and really just be happy for those that good fortune smiles on. Um, and when I say good fortune, I mean, if you're gonna make $1 million, then that's a blessing that God has given you, and you need to steward that well. No differently than if you make a lesser amount of money to whatever degree, you need to steward that well. And the stewardship and the submission to God is equal, and celebrate those together as a body of believers, I think is important.
So with that, the movie is incredibly like motivating, right? You watch Rocky, it's one of those classic sports movies that makes you want to go do something. If you're you want to go work out or you want to go like accomplish something because it's motivating. But um one of the things I think a movie like this brings out in people, and this is kind of what I was talking about with Polly, and I'm totally on board with you. I don't know that his character necessarily was introspective enough to recognize this, but I do think there's probably some underlying fear there about living without doing anything that matters, whether he believes it's his own fault or whether he's blaming somebody else for that. And so like I think most people can acknowledge that there are those who go through life and they're existing, but they never truly live. Like they're not actually living life. They're just kind of going through life, and it is what it is. And I think we've seen that before, and I think that also relates back to the Christian life as well, because we've been made alive through Christ, right? He has given us life through his life, death, and resurrection. He has brought us to life, given us new life. But then from that moment, you can be alive and not truly live. And so like Romans 12:1, for example, is kind of where I'm going with this. I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice. And I'm actually going to stop there before the verse even ends. So the nature of death is to rebel against God through suppressing your knowledge of him and disobeying him and seeking your own glory. So we have a choice to make every single day of our lives of if we're going to live for death or if we're going to live in him. And the only way to truly live is to obey and glorify God. And we have that choice to make where we can live for him or we can live for death. And we can know. And this is where the message of the gospel should like run through walls and like meet Polly and Mickey and Rocky exactly where they are, because when you are truly living, meaning, again, obeying, knowing God, and living for his glory, you know that everything now matters. The thing, even the mundane, even somebody like Polly, who probably doesn't see his career as something that's all that important, going to the, he's working in the meat freezer or whatever, he's a butcher and he's doing all that stuff, or Mickey, who's like, my prime was years and years and years ago, and now I'm just this trainer at a low level gym with nobodies and bums that I'm training and not seeing any success. Or you're Rocky, who sees himself as a bum fighting bums, who is just nothing and trying to make ends meet. When your life changes and you truly live following Christ, everything is transformed and everything now matters, has stakes, and is important and adds value if, again, you're living for him and following him with everything that you have and seeking to bring him glory. So that's how we find that meaning, that life, that living that Mickey's trying to find when he repeats over and over again. I'm 76 years old. I'm 76 years old. I'm 76 years old. Like, and he's saying it as kind of a lament, as talking like time is passing me by. Well, you can train or not train Rocky, but you can still live regardless of that decision. You don't have to have any identity or anything in that decision. Live for Christ and live for his glory, and everything gains meaning and prominence from that moment forward.
Hey guys, it's Parker from the WatchWell Podcast. If you like this video, we want to go ahead and have you subscribe right here on this button. If you want to watch the full podcast episode, go ahead and click right here. And if you want to watch another WatchWell clip, go ahead and click right here. And remember, if you're going to watch well. We'll see you in the next one.